Hello, and welcome to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. This Dresden Files story, Delivery, was written and run by our GM, Tom. And now, please enjoy episode 65, titled, Coming Home. Before we begin playing our first week of Dresden Files Delivery, I'd like to cover feedback, which we didn't have any this week, but since it is the holidays, we'd like to spend just a moment to wish all of our listeners Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holiday, Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to all our listeners. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to hopefully bringing you some good entertainment in the 2012...
Yeah, think about what year it was going to be.
Yeah, it was. 2012 podcast season.
Hope you like our gift of our new Dresden podcast.
All right. And with that, we'll go on to the adventure. Let's get started. My name is Tom, and I am running this Dresden File adventure, which we are going to title Delivery. And starting on my left, the player is...
John, playing Roberto Martinez, who's a guardian of Cleveland, empowered by a fallen angel.
Thomas, playing Maxwell Edison, the undercover FBI agent.
Scott, playing London Deals, an amoral seer to the supernatural.
Jim playing Edmond Chudowski, New Age Black Court vampire and private investigator.
This is Mike playing Allan Montgomery, a prodigal warden.
We will start the adventure with a small scene starring Allan Montgomery, who walks into what appears to be a ballroom in which there are a number of people standing across from him. He walks past a few men that look nothing if not like guards. They are obviously packing some sort of heat and watching him carefully. He walks in with his friends beside him, and in the center opposing him is a group of people, only one of which he knows very well. The rest are all relatively new. The one he knows well is his mentor, William Donovan, who is looking as if he is worse for wear. He has seen very rough times the last few days. But the lady in the center is the one demanding the attention. She's a nondescript female as far as age goes, although she has long black hair and steel glinting eyes as she stares at Allan and says, "Well, have you come here to deal?" And Allan, who's standing there holding a blanket, something wrapped in red, looks around at his friends who are standing next to him and thinks how quickly things moved in a very, very short time. And he's glad that they're all there for this final scene. And thinking back to when it all started, we'll do a bit of a fade and a cut, and we'll roll back time. And Allan walks out of the terminal tower as he returns to Cleveland for the first time in a very long time, and sighs deeply because he's returned. Good sigh. And he's been sent back by the White Council, and also his own concerns about his missing mentor, William Donovan.
William Donovan.
Where do you want to go? You have just arrived in Cleveland.
As a warden, do I have access to the White Court's means and wealth, or am I expected to have my own funds?
White Councils.
White Council, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, big difference.
No, they wouldn't have way into Cleveland because of the shield that exists around the city. So there wouldn't be a gateway that you could walk into the Fay and then just drop into the middle of the terminal.
I was just thinking like a limo, a limo taxi, not like a town car, at my disposal, but just for the purpose of getting me into the town.
Okay.
And I think I have the wizards. I can suppress my magic long enough to be around like a train or something, correct?
Yes. Usually it's emotions that cause you to lose control and fry things out.
Well, I am calm,
and as long as you're
collected.
Not up close to the engine and you're in a car.
No. Plus the red line's always fritzing out, so I will have stepped off the red line into the terminal tower.
Are you talking about taking the rapid transit?
Mm-hmm.
Into the heart of the city, yeah.
And in returning to the city, you remember it of old. It hasn't changed much other than to get more empty and more squalid and...
Yes, I imagine I'm looking around, especially now. Tower City is right down in the heart of Public Square, heart of the city, you could argue. Are there any things that I remember from my previous time here? Signs, symbols, maybe some feelings or senses that will make me...
You've had dealings with people in the city of Cleveland. So returning here, you know you have some base as far as your friends go. You've dealt with the rest of the players. You have aspects that tie directly into them. So you know for a fact that you had a friend who, two of them in fact, London deals, one who could find anything that needed to be found. And then there was Edmond Shadowski, who was a detective who knew a lot of people and could get into all the small little dark corners of the city of Cleveland. He knew a lot about how the criminal underworld a bit, but also the people of power, the magic, those in the know. He knew people there as well.
Am I expected by anyone? Do I have an appointment with anyone?
You kind of sent in here cold. The White Council has no way of knowing what's going on in the city of Cleveland, and they sent you in because, well, for two reasons. One is they lost their representation in Cleveland, but they knew that you had a connection with your mentor, and you would also have a invested interest in finding William Donovan, or what happened to him.
Is there a place that I can stay and get a hotel, or trying to think of a place downtown, or then maybe this one is a little bit more friendly to my crew, my kind of people?
Well, you know of a couple things. We would look at your contacts to determine how much of the people still exist in the city that you used to know.
Fair enough.
And you also know that William Donovan had both an office in the city and a home.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is I'm wondering if I should establish an independent
that would be totally up to you.
place, right? And one of the reasons that we talked about, like coming back, that's why I put my contact skills down lower. I only have a fair.
You've been away from the town.
Right, I've been away. So what I was thinking is just get a temporary either apartment or just like a hotel room. There's a couple places in the city. I mean, they're right there. There's hotels. There's the Key Center now. And
as you're sitting at the terminal tower looking around trying to decide your next move, the clouds open up and start to rain on you as Cleveland greets you.
You mean as I step out into the public square from the terminal tower?
You're standing outside near the square, and
right.
The clouds that are graying out the side, they just start to rain, drool all over you.
What time of the year is it?
We'll go with November.
Okay.
So it's kind of chilly.
I assume...
it's late in the afternoon. We're talking, 5:30 or so.
Okay. I open my umbrella.
You have one.
I'm sure I do.
Okay.
Do I need to pay a paper?
No, it's
for an umbrella.
You don't want to get wet. You have lived in Cleveland before.
Well, I think it'd be,
you know that the weather changes.
I think it'd be conspicuous to use my water powers to keep myself dry in this city. I think it's a waste of time.
So instead of being somebody with a cloud over their head raining them all the time, you'd be in the rain with no rain.
Yeah, it's
yeah, that's conspicuous. That's conspicuous. All right, so my first is I'm going to head on north on Public Square, heading towards the Society Center, which is the tallest building in Cleveland, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's right near the lakefront, or, I can see the lake. Looking north, I can see the lake, so the dark clouds are over the lake. Is it a blowing rain, or is it just a heavy rain falling?
It's just starting, but the clouds are looking very ominous. It's looking dark. Also, just when you entered Cleveland itself, you felt a heavy depression of just... You're not cut off from magic, but there's just almost like your ears need to pop, where you've got like a pressure on you.
Did I feel it when I crossed the boundary?
Yes.
Okay. So I can tell, it's like... Here it's sunny, and then all of a sudden a cloud has passed over, and everything is just the light, and everything has changed. Okay.
Welcome to Cleveland.
Yeah. What time of day is it?
5:30 or so.
In the evening?
PM.
Okay. I will head on over to the Society Center, and I believe there's a Marriott there, and I will go register for a room.
It's just 2 blocks. Yeah, it's within walking.
And a part of me wants to kind of
walk through the Cleveland too.
Well, I'm also trying to keep my eyes open. I've come to this place knowing something's going on, and I want to get a sense of the place. I want to feel things. I want to
feel for the city.
Yeah, I want to extend my senses. Maybe not fully commit myself to some spells since I'm still kind of alone here. But I'm keeping my eyes out for any of the signs and portents or the old stomping grounds that my mentor had shown me. Are there strange murmurs coming out from the grates as the rainwater is washing down the streets and into the sewers? Are there marks on the posts or buildings, how the secret community would communicate to each other. You know, trying to keep my eyes out for any of those type of signs, and also maybe just get a sense of trying to think of where people like my old cronies, London and Edmond.
You're actually being active about it. So let's give me an investigation roll to kind of check out things as you're walking along.
Oh. I can't explain why my investigation is so low, but perhaps...
You're not a private eye.
Yeah.
You're a warden.
Oh my. I'm an average.
All right. So there was some subtle signs which you really didn't pick up, but you do see a gentleman kind of huddled over a grate who, as you're going by, he's asking you, if you have $1 for a meal.
I ignore him. I'm no paladin.
Okay. But you don't see a lot of bustle in the city. It's as if the majority of the people have left for the evening. There are some people leaving the office and heading down to buses and heading down to the terminal to get their train ride home, their rapid ride home. And all of them are head down, just ignoring what's going on around them, trying to keep out of the rain, maybe, or maybe that's the mood of Cleveland right now.
Okay.
Head down and just hurrying along, ignoring everything, just to get home.
Just this is admin stuff now. My weapons and some of my gear, I assume, do wardens have to learn a trick to carry their spear around, because they seem to be able to produce it at will without revealing that you're walking around?
Spear?
Or sword. First of all, I was on board with not having the silver sword.
No, I'd say you were a ward long enough to have one.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to go with the fact that in the Dresden universe the sword is not being issued anymore, you're an old-time warden.
Okay.
You've had a really easy post, but times are getting tougher, and wardens are getting scarcer because of the ongoing battle with Red Court. But you do have a sword.
I don't know, I've never heard that you could do that.
Summon it or hide it? I would say you have a cloak. It almost looks like a trench coat type of thing that you just keep around you, and then in the folds of it you can easily hide it. That it's not a full glamour spell to make it invisible, but it's less noticeable.
I understand. I'm going by the books where Morgan and them, they seem to be able to carry the sword around without it being obvious. But I don't think it was ever a spell.
Whenever they show up for Harry, they usually travel through ways where they don't,
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go through metal detectors at an airport because you wouldn't go on an airplane because you wouldn't survive.
I'm going by Stormfront, where Morgan, was walking around with the cloak and.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have a duster. No, not a duster.
I would say you have something like almost a cloak that could pass for a trench coat.
Like Duncan MacLeod.
Sure.
Okay, well then I will proceed through the rain. I'm kind of trying to protect myself. I'm not trying to be get completely drenched, so I'll have an umbrella. But I'll try to keep my head on a swivel a little bit, kind of taking things in. I'm also thinking about what I will need for some simple location spells. Mm-hmm. So, was there a place that I need to stock up on supplies?
Well, I will remind you that there is an expert in town for finding things, and that is your friend London.
Right, and London always...
London has never failed to find.
Do I have to find him? I thought I was going to have to use magic to find these people.
Well, you could find... He knows where I am, because I got an office downtown.
Okay, then...
Where would your office be, Jim?
It's on the big 55 building.
That's very close.
It is.
To downtown.
It's a block away, right near the Justice Center. So actually, that was my intent, is after I get my room settled, and I'll plan to stay for a week, my first stop will be to find my detective buddy.
Okay, let's go into the hotel.
Okay.
At the front desk is a gentleman. He's the only one currently there, and he asks you, how can I help you?
I'd like a room, please.
Okay. Do you know the length of time you'll be staying here?
1 week. I'll be here through Saturday.
Okay. And do you have any preferences?
King.
All right.
Single occupancy.
Very good. He has a card key for you. Your room will be 408. And do you have any luggage, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay. He informs you that his name is James, and if there's anything he can do, just give a call down and he will be glad to assist you.
Thank you, James.
Good day, sir. So you go up to your room. The room is a pretty nice size. You've got a king-size bed.
So, when I'm in my room, I am going to look in my little black book where I keep important phone numbers and notes.
Your Rolodex?
Sure, I'm not in the unimportant.
But it's written in a arcane language.
Hebrew
so
script.
No one would really understand.
Makes sense. Okay.
I look up the number for Edmond, and I will try his phone, realizing that he's a detective and sometimes he stays late in his.
So the phone rings once, twice, and he picks up.
Ed, can I help you?
Hello, Edmond. It's Allan.
Oh, Allan, it's Ed, not Edmond, please. We've known each other for so long.
What are you doing this evening, Edmond?
Oh, just hanging out. Trying to figure out a couple leads, a couple things I'm working on.
Well, if you can take a break, I'd like to buy you a drink and talk to you about
you're
a
in
few
town?
things. I'm in town and I'm staying at the Key Center.
Cool, that's right around the corner. Want to meet at the bar downstairs? John Q's Steakhouse. I'll buy you dinner.
Oh, Johnny Q's. I haven't been there in a while. Are they still selling the dragon steaks? Just kidding, Ed. I'll see you in a few.
Alrighty.
What?
I don't know, I'm just trying to be funny.
In your office working late is Maxwell, who was working on a case and bringing you up to speed. An interesting fellow that he found out about that he thinks you might be interested in, because there's certain cases that you definitely want to get involved in. So even though most of your other employees have gone home for the evening, he's still in there.
Would the fact that I just dropped a dime to call him spur anything with him?
What do you mean?
Like, we're pals and associates, but like you said, a lot of time has gone by, and you know, sometimes.
Well, I'm sure he's curious on what you're doing in town,
Right.
but I'm not going to play his character for him. Okay, if I can really quick, before we go too far into this, ask you guys how you want to do this. We can use alertness straight up as the order of combat for physical, when we're doing physical combat, or we can do alertness modified by a dice roll. What would you guys prefer?
I like to add a little bit of uncertainty into it. Because sometimes you're just caught off guard or you're not quite as fast to the trigger that you want to be. But that's just my take.
There's rules for ambush.
No, I just mean,
I
you know,
agree.
I just feel like some days you're
With the
not as quick as others.
yeah,
Maybe in a
some days
fog.
you're
Or,
slower,
I kind of like the idea of adding that fudge
so,
dice.
did you guys set up a time in which you were going to meet?
Probably within 30 minutes.
It's late in the evening, so I think we're just heading down. And
Well, it's only about 6 o'clock now. If it was 5:30 when I got to the station,
Yeah, it's about
6 o'clock to check in.
Right.
Yeah.
So say 6:30.
So 6:30, I'll be right over there.
Did you say it was a Saturday?
No, it was not a Saturday. It was a work day. So if you want, you can make it a Friday.
Let's make it Monday.
I love Mondays.
It's a Monday in
If it's a
Cleveland.
gloomy day,
It's a gloomy Monday.
All right. So the day it's Monday and it's currently 6, and you guys are going to meet at 6:30 unless something happens to prevent that. You guys meet
So I see next.
at
We're going to dinner.
6:30.
Oh, what?
We're having a client meeting, so we get to put it on the books and take it off of our.
Ice attack at the bottom.
Nice. It's you own the business.
And where are you having dinner?
He owns ice attacks.
And where are you having dinner?
Nice.
John Q's Steakhouse on
John
the first
Q.
floor.
Got a cue.
Okay. So if nothing else is going on at 6:30, you guys arrive at John Q's. Someone want to give me some aspects for Johnny Q's? What is the Johnny Q's currently?
It's a steakhouse.
It's a real steakhouse.
I would imagine that it has a fair bit of Cleveland's power. There's lawyers. There's
Okay.
it's an upper.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you figure he's
Fine
footing the
store.
bill. You're going to pick a nice place to eat.
I said I was going to pay for it, but when I get there, I'm going to try to talk him into it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would imagine that it's upscale. I think a fair word, upscale. And
So it's relaxing. You've got some nice music. You've got medium lighting, a little bit.
I would also
dim lighting.
imagine that there are deals going down in this place. There's
Dim lighting, relatively busy.
yeah.
Slight murmur in the background.
Yeah, now that it's end of the day, if anyone wants to, there's eating dinner there before they head home and such.
And it's a place for the normals.
Okay. So you guys get there early before he does because you're just going downstairs.
Yeah, right. So we get a room, or not a room, a booth.
Booth.
A booth.
I hate working above this thing. It mocks me. I can never buy food here because I'm poor.
That's true. Your character is not all that wealthy. You wait about 10 minutes before Allan comes walking in. He's shaking off the rain. It's still raining outside.
Not looking forward to walking to my car.
And he is ushered over to your booth and sits down.
Edmond, how are you, pal?
Cool, you gonna be here a while?
Looks like. So, yeah, I sit down. Okay, anyway, I order a steak.
You're still under the impression that he's paying, so.
Sure.
Lobster.
I'm on the
No, I'm going to order a nice thick sirloin, 9-inch center cut, black peppercorn, baked potato.
He thinks we're in Lord of the Rings. He's going to describe each meal with an intricate
A little pipe weed, some mushrooms from old Farmer Maggot's fields. I'm not sure how long, but there's a couple things going on here, and I need to kind of come back. I may need to call up the old gang and get some people together. Well, I may have some work for you too.
You know for a fact that, if he's a Cleveland resident, he's going to know about
Yeah, but am I being sketchy in front of Max or
William or Big Bill,
Right.
as you used to call him.
Like I told you, Max. We'll put this on his account then.
Oh yeah. One of my questions to Edmond here is, have you seen Big Bill around? Have you heard anything about him?
Big Bill.
Big Bill would actually be William Donovan, who was the warden for Cleveland for the last 20 years or so. And you know that there's a relationship with Allan Montgomery and Bill.
But
And you know...
I also know what happened to him, or know that.
No, you don't know what happened to him, but you know the last few years you really haven't wanted to deal with him because he seemed to be doing some very, very questionable things. And you also know that no one's seen him for the last week. So I don't know how much you want to tell him of that, but that's what you do know.
Yes, I'd probably say something along the lines of he's kind of dropped off my radar lately, and I don't really talk to him too often. He doesn't want to talk to me.
That's kind of the problem. He seems to have dropped off everyone's radar, and he's been kind of missing in action for quite a while now, and things are a little bit out of hand. I'm sure you could tell me a couple stories about what's going on here.
Things are always out of hand. What do you want?
Anything in particular?
Well,
I don't know, but I can ask around.
lately in town, you know that the activity with the black cord vampires have been very active lately. It's not something you normally see because there's very, very few of them, but there seems to be some young ones. And with black cord vampires, normally a young one is pretty stupid, just a brute force animal, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Some of them seem to be pretty intelligent.
I don't know he's a black cord, right?
No. Well, he's not really a black cord.
If Jim's going to start pulling exposition out of his butt, shouldn't he be making the rolls?
I'm just telling him what he knows.
Okay.
And what he wants to share, that's up to him.
I know. Yeah. I was just wondering how much he knew.
Well, I guess another question I have.
That's what anybody knows that's on the street level. Any additional details you would have to roll for.
You guys might know that I'm not your average human.
Oh yeah.
You see me do some things that people can't do, and when you ask me about it, I just say it's complicated.
You're older than I am, right?
I don't think I'm that old. I would picture myself as...
Yeah,
You're old enough to have a sword.
you could be virtually any age you want
Yeah,
to
I
be because,
I guess my point is he like part of how I looked up to Bill, and Bill worked with him, so he's a little bit older than I am, so maybe I don't
question his.
quite like I have seen him do some odd stuff. I never worried about
I
it.
could say I'm 30.
Well, one of the things I'm here
Yeah,
to
it depends on you because on what you want to do because the two factions in Cleveland that dealt with it had your mother involved in your whole backstory. That could go back many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so.
Well, anyway, I've been sent back into town. I'm going to be here for a while. I got to find Bill. And until we can find Bill, I'm going to be filling his shoes, doing what I have to do here.
Cool.
And I'm
You
going
need someone to
and
try to get things back to normal around here.
well, that's the plan. And before we can do that, we need to, I need to look up some of the old gang like you and
If you want to find somebody quick, London's probably the quickest way to do it.
go to London. What's the word on him? How's he been?
Oh, he's not been good either.
Nothing good.
He got-
report.
His little organization got a little disrupted, and he's kind of...
Yeah, actually, as far as you're concerned, you're having trouble locating him. I mean, you heard that that some shit went down and he's
Yeah.
basically hiding.
Is he?
Hiding the way
He's on
London
the run.
does.
I can probably
He's
I can
gone
get a
to
hold of
ground?
him, but it might take a little bit of time. But
He's gone to ground, huh?
he had to.
I'd be a little pissed if you get a hold of him too. You'd probably expose him.
Well,
All right, just a bit of London's backstory. In recent time, he was contacted less than a week ago by a gentleman. That gentleman went by the name of Ron Daniels, who was looking for some help finding someone. And he gave London a vial of blood. And the vial of blood is a very powerful thing when you're using it to locate people. And London was baffled by the fact that he could not locate that individual. He's never failed before. It's what he does. And his assumption was that Mr. Daniels was pulling some kind of trick, that it was pig's blood or fake blood or who the hell knows what. But it wasn't working. And when he contacted Daniels, he didn't seem all that surprised or wasn't taken aback by the fact that the search couldn't be done, and supplied him with his second vial, in which London was able to locate the person, but again, didn't have a whole lot of information on it and was going to do his normal pickup and delivery thing when Mr. Daniels informed him that no, they would handle the pickup. They didn't want him involved, they just wanted to know the location. Not something that London normally deals with because his reputation's on the line, and in fact that's what happened. Is apparently there was a botch job and things went very, very ugly. He did come back a third time asking London to do another trace on the same vial of blood and a rush job because lives were on the line, including London's, which made London not too happy. First of all, they screwed with his work ethic and they fucked him over, and now he's getting the blame for something that they botched. And when he did the location spell, this time it failed, and he knew this type of failure. This occurred before, and it's because the recipient was dead. And it would still work, and he could still find the corpse, but it was a different type of process. But it was at that point that Ron warned him that, no, it's much too late now. You and I are both in deep shit. And that's when London went to ground, hiring a bodyguard to watch him full time by the name of Roberto Martinez, and both of them are somewhere in the city, or perhaps not. And
So
then
can I
we go
use my
back to your dinner
my
table.
average contacts
Mhm.
to get the word out that I am looking for?
well, if
He knows where to find me.
London, as I recall, is pretty cagey. If he doesn't want to be found, he may be hard to find. And also, if he's hiding, maybe we don't want to chum the water with the word that people are looking for him, because I think that'll just spook him even more.
Now he owes me, and I think right now he can use any extra.
I wonder if we could just simplify this and use a tracking spell to go after him. What do you think?
I think if he knows how to fudge tracking spells, good luck.
Perhaps we could make it where I'd worked with Ed in the past, and there was a secret number or a Dropbox or something that if he left a message, it would be checked within a day or two at most. And,
Okay.
So I think we would know how to get.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
This would be a great time to use a declaration that you guys have set up something ahead of time. I think that would probably be based on.
And actually, if I may jump in really quick,
Because I didn't have an answer, I was going to fudge it, but go ahead.
well, this ties into an aspect that Scott or London assigned to me, is that teamwork beats the odds. So perhaps, that good old team effort, kind of like what I was saying, or we were mentioning before, looking for little symbols or signs. If I go out and put a little pentagram or draw a little picture of Big Ben on a certain wall, that's a signal that we'll get back to him to let him know that a certain person's in town. I'll pay a thing to invoke them.
Would you say something like contacts, Scott?
Yeah,
Might be a
I
good-
have that at great, so I make sure that when people need to find me, in a sense of
I need to
for
find
a
you.
job, not like I'm hiding, but they need to contact me, not find me. I initiate the contact.
Well, I'm saying we're going to make a contact roll, and you would need.
I was willing to pay a fate point because that was an aspect that he specifically gave to me, and if teamwork beats the odds, in a way that does kind of speak to some planning. So I'm okay
Right.
paying a fate.
I'm not saying it's necessary yet. I would
Okay.
say it would require good forethought of Scott to have set up, or as London to have set this up ahead of time.
Good.
Good.
see lots of pluses, like 4 of them.
Wow, no shit. You're off the charts.
That's so.
Epic. It's what I do.
So I
Wait a
said,
minute, you have 4. I thought your skill was already
Well,
supported.
there's 4. Sorry, you are correct. It's not epic. It's legendary.
You're above legendary as far as having pre-set up a way to be contacted specifically by
So I sent a text to his bodyguard to text him.
probably a little more complicated than that. But yeah, you definitely can get a hold of him or get an answer to him relatively quickly. Or not an answer, but a connection with him relatively quickly. We're getting the band back together.
Right. And we need your services.
We need your services. It's safe to meet us at where?
Oh.
What's the
Market.
safest place in the city?
The market. The West Side
The
Market.
West Side Market.
It's not the safest place to meet, but
No,
it's the
it's-
most convenient place to meet.
Right.
It's where people meet.
I don't know any place safer.
Yeah, there's some nice outs there as well. If you know, I would probably feel pretty comfortable there. That if anything went down, I could get away if necessary.
In our design, we've decided that the West Side Market is someplace where all of the deals of the magical kind go down. So there are probably gateways to the Fae. There are many little bolt holes and ways to get out of there.
That's the best way to get to ground ever. I never.
What time are you guys going to meet? Same night? Next morning?
I don't feel a particular urgency yet.
Okay. Because of the flash forward, you're sometimes stating you're looking for William Donovan. This point of the story, you have no idea whether he's alive or dead. You might assume that he's dead because he's missing for 2 weeks, and that's not something he would normally do.
My primary purpose is the White Council sent me into Cleveland to, 1, locate William Donovan, and 2, assume their primary warden's authority and responsibility for the area.
It would
his
be
absence.
1, find him, or find the method of his demise.
Alright.
I mean, wizards are notoriously hard to kill, but
What's he
and in
doing
this
for?
particular situation, being Cleveland and Badlands, lost in a
Right.
fire of magical shielding and an inability, nobody knows where he is or
Okay.
if he is or. But
So I'm going to proceed from... I'm still discovering what everyone's immediate troubles are, but my purpose here is Big Bill.
you do know that London is the dividing rod to finding anything
A finder.
missing. He is a finder.
That's true. Well, I'm a night owl, so I'm okay with meeting... But isn't the farmer's market closed?
That's the farmer's market. West Side Market.
Oh,
Please, posh. It's the West Side Market.
West Side Market.
The West Side Market to the normals is closed.
That's right.
We're talking a city where vampires and people who prefer evenings.
My investigation is average, so sometimes I'm
Well, you
slowing
forget
up
these
there.
things. You
Yeah.
haven't been into Cleveland for many
The
years.
after-hours market is still
You've been outside of Cleveland probably for 10, if not 20
Right.
years.
I've been in the Bahamas where things are a lot...
It's a much nicer assignment than
Right.
Bahamas.
You just have witch doctors and...
You have to do an
zombies.
occasional zombie, yes.
Right. So, yeah, well, let me finish my good steak, my good beer, my potato,
He,
fresh vegetables.
being Edmond, has a way of contacting London and wants to know when you want to meet him.
You want to meet him? We could meet him as early as tonight. It might be more convenient to do it in the morning. I don't know if you want to make sure if you want to wait till there's nobody there or till it's bustling.
like mornings all that much. I mean, just
Let's
because.
shoot for 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the morning?
And tonight.
When he's in direct
Nice.
sunlight.
Boss, I've had a busy day. I've been working.
Double time for overtime, man.
Okay. Overtime.
Oh, wait.
Oh boy, I'm just not
Because-
getting paid twice as much.
You're hard up for cash.
By the smoky.
He says, throwing a fake.
The city never sleeps. There's bad things out there. You gotta patrol at night.
So you spend
Time. I don't give.
you spend a good hour and a half eating a leisurely meal and discussing old times and getting caught up on what's been happening in
Old
Cleveland.
times. I definitely remember those.
They were written down on a card that I lost.
What are the aspects of the West Side Market?
The West Side Market is a theme of the city of Cleveland. Well, it's not. It is a theme.
It's the location. No.
The idea being anything can be found there. It is the market of the macabre is the aspect, and the butcher of the supernatural, Otto Wagner, is the face.
And you get me some unicorns, man.
You can get a flank of unicorn, $7.69 a pound. Folks.
$749.
Crime!
It's a unicorn.
A symbol of
Tastes
purity
like
and
horse.
goodness. Why would you ever dare eat it?
Have you ever
Boy
had it?
Scout? Unicorns are delicious.
Of course.
Why would you not?
And they're also very useful in certain spells.
They're not yet
Are
farmed.
they put in a little box like veal? Unicorn veal. Oh,
Good stuff.
Great, unicorn horn on the top. That's so good.
The fat of a unicorn. You collect. Never mind. Rookies. So, anyways,
I definitely send Roberto ahead of time to case the place before I show up.
right, and you're using.
He has a special number from an untraceable cell phone, and I'm waiting a couple blocks away in a car that we drove together, and he just gets out, walks, cases the place, and then contacts me because I'm not going to show up at a magical place if there's any of the known enemies there.
Okay. At 10 o'clock, we have Roberto going into the West Side Market and looking around for his boss to make sure things are safe.
If I remember correctly, casing is a thing under stealth.
Is it really?
Burglar.
Yes. Okay.
Have I met Roberto before?
You've met everyone
Is it
in
though?
one way or another.
No, that's burglary. Yeah.
Yes, you definitely know Roberto. You've dealt with him before. He's helped you in some way, or you've helped him. So, the fact that you have no burglary, you would instead use investigation to case. Look for. You don't have that either, do you?
That, yeah.
So both of those are at 0.
survival.
Both of those are at 0, are they?
Yes.
Then either a straight up 0 or maybe possibly alertness.
Bodyguard.
Alertness for passive awareness of something. You might accidentally find out if something's going on. In which case,
I can see how alertness being used.
in that case, I think your alertness, if I'm not mistaken, is good. So feel
Pretty much
free to
good.
use that to passively notice.
Wow, I did good.
You rolled a even. You go in there and kind of use your spider senses to try to pick up absolutely anything that you can, and you're not getting any danger. It's nighttime. The main floor of it is typically not very busy. Most of the deals go down in private rooms underneath the main floor. You didn't notice any bodyguards or anyone sitting in the corner and spying on everybody, searching for anything in particular.
Now that you say that, I'm totally going to be sitting in the corner.
Spying and watching people.
Watching for something in particular.
Alright, then. I call on my boss.
But you guys are supposed to meet at 10. Your boss sent you in at like 9:45. A little bit early, so because he likes to make sure of what he's walking into.
The wrong guy for that.
Well, maybe I'm one
Hasn't
of
failed
them.
me yet.
This is my first test.
So you call him on the number that he gave you. It's just a disposable phone that you switch out daily to make sure
Right.
you aren't being traced. He gives you the all okay. He's not seeing anything out of the unusual.
So I'd like to use my Ring of Faustus to cast a seeming and to be someone other than myself as I enter in, just in
Okay.
case, because one can never be too sure, even after the one ring, which is our signal for all clear, a one ring and then a hang up. I'm not 100% positive that's the case, and want to make sure that
Okay.
I'm not putting myself in danger. So I invoke the power of the ring to make myself seem as I'm sure I have a slew of
Aliases.
yeah, and choosing one that hasn't been used before. Just some
Paranoia is not
normal
a skill.
Yeah, and
a barista at coffee house I was at 3 months ago, kind of thing, where it's just completely someone unknown.
okay. So how does that ring work? I mean, I normally associate that with a deceit roll.
You have to see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the ring allows you to do it. Does it give you a boost? Is it? I mean, what is the ring? Is it?
It costs 1. It allows me to do glamours.
Okay.
Glamour's ordinarily -2, but he has the ring that contains the powers. If he loses it, he cannot use it. It's an
Okay.
item of power.
So it's what grants him the power to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was.
Yeah, you're not making up the costume yourself. You're using the power of magic to do it. So you would say discipline is the role.
Yeah, I put those hot for this very purpose.
That's good. No,
-1 on the roll. My discipline is superb, so that takes me down to a great.
so you're
By disguise.
You want to write that into the power.
Is illusion?
glamour.
Glamour.
Is it glamour or a
Glamour,
seeming?
it's a seeming, and it's
So
Discipline. Discipline instead of deceit.
It's kind of a veil, but not a veil.
yeah. So it's currently at great.
so I come in and I use a secret hand signal to inform Roberto of my disguise, so that he knows, because he's in the time we've worked together, maybe a week, maybe 2, however long it's been.
Yeah, he knows you do such things.
So he turns around and flips
Yes.
off Roberto.
Mhm.
God, there he is.
What
And then we wait for our.
when you go to the east or west side of the West Side Market, there's stairways going down to underneath, and on both of those locations, you see what you know to be guards. You know, you need to know the password to get in.
Right. Do I know the password to get in?
I think everybody that's in the know knows the password to get in.
Well, then we go get the room.
Thanks for listening to Knights of the Night Actual Play Podcast. Visit KotNpodcast.com for more information on this and other adventures, where you will find character stats, photos, storytelling props, and even a forum for comments and suggestions. Or you could email us directly at feedback@KotNpodcast.com, or contact us via Twitter or leave a message on Facebook. All music for this podcast was created and performed by Zen Audiosmith. If you'd like custom professional music created for your podcast or business, please visit zenaudiosmith.com. And please join us next episode for more mystery and adventure.
The Butcher of the Supernatural, Otto Wagner, is the face.
And you get me unicorns, man.
You can get a flank of unicorn. $7.69 a pound. Boys.
$769.
Crime!
It's a unicorn.
A symbol of
Tastes
purity
like
and
horse.
goodness. Why would you ever dare eat it?
Have you ever
Boy
had
Scout? Unicorns are delicious.
Of course.
it? Why would you not?
And they're also very useful in certain spells.